Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. And today I'm sitting down with the founder of SyncAI, which is a protocol. I think we'll call it a protocol that's looking to create that layer between you and DeFi so that you can keep up to date with what's going on and be able to take action on different, I suppose, different things that are happening in the space, because the crypto space moves fast and it's sometimes hard to keep up with that. So Adnan, thanks very much for joining me. Welcome on to the channel.
Yeah, thanks, Paul, for taking the time to invite me and taking this interview. Really appreciate it.
Nice. So look, we'll jump straight into it. Can you give the high level who you are, and then we'll get into what SyncAI is and what you guys have on offer?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Adnan, as Paul introduced, founder and CEO of SyncAI Network, and I've been in the blockchain slash Cardano space since past 4 years, working as a product architect for multiple startups in the space. Previously, I served as a research partner at a Web3 venture capital firm based out of India, where my primary job was to do due diligence of a lot of companies that are raising funds. So most of my time went into analyzing the user experience aspect of it from a technical feasibility perspective, and also from the uh, end user perspective, that are these applications meant to be that product market fit. And I've seen a lot of founders, a lot of applications, different approaches. And during this journey, I've really noted there are some key pressing issues that no one is still solving, even after so many years after we got the smart contracts from Ethereum. So that's where my motivation came from behind starting SyncAI. That I thought we can really solve those pressing issues that I have analyzed through my experience. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I can start diving deep into the product now.
Yeah, I think so, because you've done a lot of research, and as someone who talks to a lot of new people into crypto, I see the issues with the UI UX. It's still too complex for people coming in new. We're all used to crypto now, and you're used to the terminology, but even understanding the terminology, never mind how to navigate the space, it's a different world. So I'll let you dive into Sync AI and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, right. So SyncAI network, we are building our own one-click super app on top of our network for all your Web3 interactions. So it is powered by a distributed network of nodes on the backend, which comes with its own LLM, large language AI model, that seamlessly connects to all of your different chains, all of your different applications and users. So what it does is it consolidates everything that you are interacting with Web3 into one single intuitive interface. And I'd like to explain it through an example because it becomes so much easy to understand. Suppose you go to a lending platform and you have opened a position, you have taken a loan, and life gets busy, and you don't know if the loan is nearing liquidation. And there is no infrastructure in Web3 in place which can actually allow the lending smart contracts to notify you on your mobile phone that, boss, your position is at risk. So what SyncAI does is it solves this problem first, that it allows the user to know what's happening on chain, that the user will get a notification that their loan is about to get liquidated. But not only that, we have our own large language model that we have trained on top of user agent data sets related to blockchain data, which analyzes that trade, which analyzes what has happened with your loan, that it's nearing liquidation, and it generates pre-built transaction buttons. So within the notification, you will get, do you want to close the trade now, or do you want to add in more liquidity, because those are the two viable options you can go forward with. And you just tap into it and sign the transaction by your face ID fingerprint, just how you do in Vesper, and then it's done. So the entire process of you going to your different applications, different tabs, connecting your wallet, analyzing what is happening, making a decision, building the transaction, then signing is, it's completely abstracted with a single button, because everything is happening directly for you within that button. you are getting notified. You are now connected with all of these applications on different chains, and you have the ability to take immediate actions. So these are the three key pressing issues that we are really solving with SyncAI network. And it will not only, the notification example is just one small use case. What you can also do is you can access the application and complete or execute intents. So suppose I want to copy trade Paul's wallet because I know Paul is such a great trader. I know his wallet. I can just type in, hey, can you copy Paul's wallet? Here's my 1,000 USDM, and take 10% maximum for each trade. So what it will do is it creates a smart account where your 1,000 USDM is delegated to the AI agent with the signing key. So you don't have to sign it again and again. It will automate the trades based on Paul's wallet activity for you. So it becomes so much easier. It gives you that freedom to take actions, to to know what's happening on chain, and to execute everything in an immediate manner, in a much more intuitive interface. So this is what we are building.
Okay, I think it's important to simplify the process for everybody so more people can get involved, especially within the Cardano ecosystem. There's a fairly big community there, but the big majority are just happy to sit on the sides and stake their ADA because they know that's safe and that is steady. And getting involved in DeFi is a major learning curve as well as the risks that it brings. So I think this can help on the risk side in terms of it'll keep everybody up to date with things like the lending and borrowing. Can I set the notification levels? So I want to know if I drop below 150% collateral or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it comes with a fully modular interface where you can set alerts. You can create like a chart also in a no code manner, where you can just drag and drop things like that. Hey, alert me when the XYZ happens, and you can create a custom flow for you yourself. So what it does is it will create a channel between the application and you, and based on these triggers it will be sending you those notification payloads. So it's a very modular thing, and it works fantastic with all different chains. We have already started testing it with EVM, with Cardano. We have talked very in depth with Levy, to integrate this. We'll be talking with MinSwap. We have talked about Hosky also to resolve these trades on the back end. So I think things are looking good on that end.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, the more applications you can integrate into it, I think the better it is for all them applications too, or all them dApps, because it encourages more people to use them if they can use them all through one entity. And I'm not meaning that we want everything centralized, but it's just if you have one front interface into all of these dApps, I think that's a great way to get people to use them. So just I suppose the one thing lots of people like to keep their funds in their own wallets, security wise, they keep the keys. That's the safest possible way. It's what I always say to people. You keep your portfolio segregated into some that's cold storage, never gets touched and all this kind of stuff. But how does custody of funds work with something like this? I presume the contract or the LLM has to have access to the funds.
Yeah, so we utilize account abstraction and smart accounts. And the good part, it's good that you brought it up. So suppose a new person is, coming, and they, or existing Web3 users also, they are, onboarding or getting onboarded on SyncAI network. They just have to register sync id, because the first problem I mentioned, that there is a lot of fragmentation in web3, where you have different wallets for different chains, and for different applications, so you don't know which wallets they are supporting and stuff like that. So what SyncAI does is, when you register a sync id, it automatically, in a non-custodial manner, it creates wallets for you in a fully non-custodial way, whatever networks SyncAI is supporting. So Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, Base, Solana. So now all these things are connected, and we just partnered with Bioeconomy. So what we will be doing is enabling smart accounts for 30 plus chains. Now we are going to support 30 plus chains in our testnet. Plus we are having a smart account structure for Cardano also. What it will do is, when you allocate certain amount to the AI agent to trade upon, it basically gets logged in a smart contract, and you are basically delegating a part of your signing keys to that smart contract, to that AI agent, to take trades or to execute trades on your behalf with those certain parameters set in. So if you have set, only take 10% max trade uh, on my funds, if you're copy trading Paul's wallet, like that. So it is going to, execute trades based on those certain parameters, because what LLM does is it converts your natural language query into a list of parameters that it needs to execute in order to build the transaction. And until and unless it does not have those parameters clearly resolved, it is going to ask you again, do you mean that, you want this, and you just approve, and then it is going to go to the next step. So it creates a very secure, it gives you the full transparency, and it keeps you informed that what is happening, and you can predict what is the output going to be, without having any worry that your funds are going somewhere and stuff like that.
Yeah, I suppose for people who are used to being involved in crypto, the simplest way to look at it is it's like I put in my funds into a DEX or I put them into lending and borrowing. I trust into their smart contract. And so you put in the amount of funds that you want to put into that, and then the contract handles it from there. So that's where audits and the whole security of the contracts comes into play. Just people might understand that more than trusting parts of it to the LLM and stuff like that. You still keep, I would always say, you have multiple wallets, that you have your cold storage and all that, and then anything you're actively trading, you could put into the system like this and let it help, I suppose, keep you up to date on what's happening, and you can take the interactions. But then, so there's the contracts, and then there has to be something else, I suppose, for the LLM and to control the chain indexing and everything like that. Where does that come into play? I know I've seen something about nodes for SyncAI too.
So that's a good part, because we okay, let's start with the very basics. So we are building a network which is capable to do three things which I mentioned. It is capable to connect all different chains, all different applications, and then it is providing you a way to know what is happening in all these chains and all these applications. And then third, it is giving you the ability to take immediate actions. So if you want to do all of these three things, first of all, you need a validation and consensus mechanism, because you do not want your trades, you do not want your the communication, the notification payloads from a centralized server, because that can be manipulated, and it's dangerous, because if there's a manipulation and if you get like wrong trades built up, and as a normal user you can't really identify it on the back end side, and if you take it poses a security risk. So from that standpoint, you need a validation system which creates a secure channel between the applications, between the chains and SyncID, and basically a group of nodes validate each entry and exit points, that if it is originating from the correct chain, if it is originating from the correct dApp it is meant to, and if it is getting delivered on the correct wallet address behind the sync ID. So for that, we need validation and consensus. Second thing we need is computation and processing, because what sync ID also have is it also bridges your web2 account, so you can attach your WhatsApp and Telegram with multi-party computation, so your numbers are not stored anywhere on chain, but it is stored in a distributed manner, so it can be resolved uh, at your local device when the notification is generated. So now you are able to take trades, and you are able to get notifications on your WhatsApp and Telegram as well. So you are controlling many different chains directly from your WhatsApp interface or a Telegram bot interface. And the third, so you need a lot of computation and processing with that, and not to forget our AI related use cases. And the third thing you need is of course storage to store certain activities, because the nodes will be equipped with RPC endpoints connected to different blockchain networks to get the data from, different oracles for our LLM, because what we utilize in our LLM is function calling, which is built by OpenAI, uh, which takes the natural language query, and it has the ability to utilize external libraries, which Cardano developers have built, or Ethereum developers have built, or external data from oracles like Chainlink, or artifacts if they require any particular data to resolve a particular transaction and things like that. So for all these three things, we can't really do it in a centralized manner. It doesn't make sense. So that's why we have chosen a deep in aspect which solves all of these three parts of the problem. And that's why there will be a distributed group of nodes where people are doing validation, computation and processing, and storage. So that's the reason we are going to have nodes, and there are going to be two types of nodes: one light node and one full node. Light node will be acting as a more sort of like a relay, and the full node will be acting which does all of these three things: validation, computation, and storage. And we're also in terms of specifications, it is going to be more of like compatible with eigen cyclone, if you guys have heard of it. So it is a possibility that in future you might be able to run our nodes within eigen cyclone as well. So this is the whole trajectory we are going with in terms of our nodes.
Nice. And yeah, I like that you're looking at the cyclones too. As soon as they're available, I'm hoping to have one, maybe two of them sitting here. And if I can run nodes for multiple networks and projects, then that's great for me. I'd like to have it sitting in the background and be able to reference it at points that, like, yes, that's running a SyncAI node or whatever it is for different networks. But just when you're talking there, it occurred to me that with the normal transaction, so when we talked about the copy trading, things like that, you have to assign certain funds that the LLM can actually sign the transactions for. But for general tasks, the keys actually stay with me. So custody still stays with me, is it? So say I link my Telegram, the keys essentially are on my phone or wherever I have Telegram. And then when I agree to the message in Telegram, I sign it then using the keys, is it? So it's still only me ever has the keys for that wallet?
Yeah, exactly. So everything is going to be stored on the client side. So you are not allowing your keys to be leaked to the nodes or to the network. And even like a small example I would like to give. So when I said you are going to receive notifications on your Telegram and your WhatsApp, so how does Telegram and WhatsApp come into place is you need to set up your sync id there with our bot. So there will be a sync id bot on Telegram and WhatsApp, just like how you use like if you have used Snakebot or Bonkbot, where it's a fully non-custodial thing, where you just import your wallet keys and it creates a local wallet for you, which is able to communicate with the blockchain. Very similar way. But in terms of keys, a good example would be when a notification is coming, how does it know that it should be delivered to your mobile number or to your Telegram ID in terms of without exposing the endpoint. So how we are going to do it is it lands in your Sync mobile app first, and the Sync mobile app acts as a delivery node, and from there the message gets decrypted with your own keys which are stored in your local device, and then it gets delivered to the WhatsApp APIs or Telegram APIs. So all of the things which are very sensitive and which requires full custody is going to happen on the client side. So there is nothing, and even when you log the funds in the smart contract, you're basically signing it with your local signing keys, and you're basically creating uh, a new the smart contract itself has the ability to not utilize your keys, but it have its own mechanism to execute the street so that is not interlinked with your private keys. So that is
Mhm.
how it is going to work.
Okay, that's good. And the sync ID as well, linking all the different accounts. I like that. It's having to have multiple different wallets for everything. We see some wallets are going multi-chain, and that will help the UI UX too. But being able to have one app that can interact with opportunities, I think even for would you guys go into multi-chain, people outside of Cardano, if they're able to look at opportunities on Cardano and take advantage of them through SyncAI, then I think that's great. They don't have to worry about, look, we have some great wallet providers on Cardano, but you don't want people outside having to come in and learn how the wallets work first, get them all set up, and then go and take or get involved in the ecosystem. So if there's ways to simplify that cross-chain activity, let people get involved in multiple different chains, I think that's great, because a lot of the new people coming into crypto, they don't really care what chain they use to start with. Some people go down the rabbit hole and start to learn why they want to use certain chains, but the reality is most new people don't care about that. So I'm conscious on time here, and I'm just, when we touch on nodes, there is a token. Where does the sync token fit into all of this?
Exactly. So the utility of the sync tokens is that whatever. So let's take it this way: whatever interactions you do in your normal Web3 space on your applications, you pay a fees for all the transactions that you're doing on chain. What sync is basically, the whole network acts as a middleware layer between existing applications and user base, and it provides them a better way to interact with the same applications they are utilizing. So our goal is to target high liquidity, high TVL areas in Web3, which roughly translates to like to top 20 to top 50 DeFi platforms, including those are often Cardano, because we are going to start with Cardano and then we are going to expand to all of these high traffic zones. Like if you just see Uniswap's last 24-hour volume, it's above $1 billion. So the whole plan is to make sync the whole network as a middleware layer. Let's take Uniswap and the existing user base, and there is already $1 billion worth of volume happening between those. We are going to provide them in an alternate way, which gives them more freedom, which gives them a more intuitive interface, which gives them more opportunities, and tap into that significant chunk of that volume and make it flow through SyncAI network, and then resolve it on Uniswap. And for that, because we are facilitating all the transactions, in easier terms, we are facilitating transaction building, facilitating executing intents on different chains, on different applications. Is going to be a fees which is going to be charged in sync tokens for doing so, and that's the major revenue driver for the network. And we do have like multiple revenue models, which where it comes to like integrations or ecosystems or applications who want to interact by themselves on SyncAI network. They need to have a chunk of tokens in order to create channel IDs on the network, because without channel IDs, people can't subscribe to them. It creates basically a secure communication line between you and your user base. So transaction fees, integrations, developer toolkits. So these are our like major revenue drivers, and all of the fees from those volume generated on SyncAI network is going to be get collected in our treasury, which is going to be redistributed among the group of nodes which are providing the resources to keep the network alive, and our delegators who are delegating to those nodes in order to provide security to the network. So this is how it is. It creates basically a deep in flywheel. If you guys have heard of the effect, where more integrations happen, more activity happens, the liquidity of the token builds up, and then it drives more demand, then it drives more need of more nodes, infrastructure, and then basically in turn, because now network is capable of having even more integrations or more chains, more applications. It basically creates a cycle of growth, which is self-sustainable, self-reinforcing. So this is a whole token economics, dumbed down very simply, very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an important point that's overlooked in a lot of projects sometimes is the, I suppose, the long-term view of how will the project sustain itself, because every project, no matter whether you do token raises or you have investors in the beginning, them funds will run out at some point. So there has to be a monetization model there for the ecosystem or for the protocol to be sustainable long term. And it's good to hear that the last few projects that I've talked to are all really starting to look at that, which I think has been missing a bit from projects in previous years. It was always just, we have this token, we'll just keep making more and more of this token, and that's what's going to sustain. But all that does is put sell pressure on the market. So there needs to be an income stream from somewhere else that isn't just new tokens coming into circulation. So it's good to see. And just on that, will the sync token be the only way, or would, say, I come in with ADA, is there a way for me to convert that to sync and use that, or do I always have to have the sync to pay?
Yeah, we had explored that, and we have a very good tokenomics team. People from like various major applications like MinSwap, OUSDM, and things like that. And we have tried to create simulations on how it is going to behave if we enter different tokens. One key major problem is because since it is going to be on different networks, and if you're really going to do that, uh, the treasury will now be holding like multiple tokens, and in starting at least, it will become a bit of a hassle to create an automated process in order to convert them in a secure manner so that network doesn't suffer. Because in the starting phases, when the revenue streams are just kicking in, we need to ensure that it is flowing in a very smooth manner. So going forward, once the network is like a bit more matured, we might explore that option as well, because it gives people more easier ways to basically build the transactions, or without needing to worry about loading their wallet with sync tokens. So it can happen, everything can happen on the back end for them. So we are going to explore that. That's definitely an option, but not immediately.
Okay. Token sale. There is a token sale. It's one of the ones coming up on MinSwap. What's
Yeah.
the details on that?
Yeah, so it's coming on November 14th. The sale details are not out yet as of right now. On Wednesday, November 6th, we are recording it right now. So keep an eye on the token sale details. But our tokenomics is out. Our liquidity management paper is out. So we have crafted a very in depth liquidity management paper, because we see a lot of projects after raising, they just don't care about how they are going to manage their liquidity, and which is not that great for the long term health of the token. So we have phased out a very good strategy how we are going to randomly place zaps in, because we are going to allocate 15% of the raise data for liquidity operations over a long period of time. And we have chosen like descending zaps in to ensure that we absorb maximum of the sell pressure in the starting, and then it drives a good long term health of the token. And you can also dive deep in our tokenomics distribution and harvesting schedules. We are going to allocate 36 plus 5% to the sale, to the pre-sale, which is like 41%. 5% is for liquidity. And you can read all the reasonings behind how we have chosen it that way. You can dive deep into our liquidity management paper. It's very interesting. You can check out who are in the committee. So we have built our own liquidity management committee, so that we are not the only people controlling, millions and millions of dollars going forward. It's a group of people, taking the decisions and things like that. So everything is in our white paper. If you just go on our profile, Twitter profile, there is a section called Why Sync AI on the link tree and the link above. You can get all of the information very quickly in like 120 seconds. We have recorded short videos. So if you just want to have a refresh on why should I be a part of the network and the journey, you can do so by going there.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll leave links to all of the things you've just discussed there, and I might be able to cover them in some of the other videos. You mentioned there we're recording on Wednesday. It'll be a few days just before this one comes out. So some of what we're talking about here might already even be out with the sale details. So I will leave all the links down below for that when they do come out. But one thing just to touch on before we close out is I like that you're looking at the Zap feature, which is, I think, like I talked about the income streams and things like that, the projects are starting to evolve. I think that's a good aspect too. That, and for people who don't understand that, that's basically instead of just throwing all the liquidity into the market at first, what you do is you put some in initially and then you set it to add more liquidity over time. So it means that you're not just throwing it all in and then there's nothing else you can do. So you're zapping in more liquidity, which helps put a little bit of a floor on the market at times, and it helps sustain some of the, look, there'll always be some sell pressure after sales. So what this does is it really helps put some stability into the market too, which is a great aspect to see. What, any closing thoughts before we close this out, or anything we didn't touch on today?
I think, yeah, guys. So, just want to say that what we are building is so unique, and we have been talking to a lot of leaderships from different ecosystems, from Cardano, from EVM chains, I had a talk with Solana Foundation people as well, and the product market fit for a product like this, is really out there, and it's very hard to create something which caters to a very wide audience, and we are not creating which is another dex or a DeFi platform, which people generally tend to do, and it's awesome because they provide new features. But what we are doing is we are building an application which caters to the already active user base of Web3 plus the new users who are coming to Web3, and gives them a new way, more intuitive, gives them more freedom to interact with the same applications they're trusting. So the potential here is like pretty huge, and if you want to be a part of the journey, we really have like a very very long vision for taking this very massive. So token sales are one part to get involved. So if you guys want to be a part of journey, remember November 14th our pre-sale is coming, and keep an eye on our socials for more updates. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for tuning in.
Great. Yeah. Look, everyone share this out. Let people know what is being built here, what it's all about. Subscribe if you're new. And hopefully at some point in the future, I will have a Cyclone sitting behind me here with SyncAI running on it, as well as multiple different nodes for different projects building out on Cardano and on other chains too. Thanks for watching. And then thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. And look forward to seeing what you guys do going forward from here. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.